Hello and welcome to another Doctor's Assistant 1 video, and today I'm doing a new video which is a sort of review of a Doctor Who comic book. Obviously it's the first time I've ever done out like this, so I'm going to be kind of rubbish at doing it. And I would hope if I continue to do these sort of videos in the near future, I would obviously progress and get better. But anyway, it has the classic series Doctor Who sort of logo, which I would tell by the sort of Doctor Who logo effect. It's very reminiscent of William Hartnell's sort of effect. It also says classics there, and the artwork just on the front cover is very attractive, and you're very centralized, meaning you're very you could be in a very big bookshelf over there, but even if it's there, it would you draw your attention to there rather than and it makes itself central is what I'm trying to say. You've got the iconic Seventh Doctor in this really cool purple kind of effect, shadow effect, and this character who we get introduced to in the comic. The art is really nice and stuff, and I really like it. And you see the Daleks on these sort of hover kind of craft devices in this comic book, but you also they sort of make them in the Time Zone playset, Dalek 1. So I'm kind of confused now. I'm not sure if it's an official sort of thing or if it's mainly just in the sort of expanded Doctor Who universe that they're a normal thing and not mainstream canon, these sort of hoverboard things, because we've yet to see them in an actual episode. I'm not going to show you the whole thing, but that's the character who we get introduced to. I will say that the ending is pretty bad. It's very anticlimactic, From what I can remember of the ending, I won't show you it, but I think the Doctor just, gets told, well, you're going to be killed, exterminate, with the Daleks, which is very, very anticlimactic, but I think the Seventh Doctor works well in this comic book, and I think I was thinking before doing this review, mentioning this sort of thing, which was that I think Doctor Who works well in a comic book format, because the episodes themselves, classic ones especially, ended in cliffhangers, and so you can have a 6-part sort of Doctor Who story arc, comic book one, ranging 6 issues, and having it as an overall sort of episode, but each comic book's an individual part to that story, and that's how the classic series kind of was formatted, and its format worked, and it works well with comic books, and that it just irritates me when they do it with stuff like Adventure Time comic books, where the format don't work as well, because the TV series is usually 1 episode, and then the next episode's a completely new story, or very rarely having maybe 2-parters, and that's it. And that's kind of how the new series of Doctor Who works, so I guess the new series of Doctor Who wouldn't work as well in a comic book format, but I was initially going to get a new series comic book one, but then I saw this and I was like, ooh, Daleks, you've got Daleks in the background, and ooh, Seventh Doctor, and it's I don't know if people class it as canon. I was going to say it's non-mainstream canon, but I'm not sure, and that, but we definitely know, because of Night of the Doctor, when Paul McGann mentions all of his past companions from the Big Finish audios, that now they're in mainstream canon as Doctor Who, whereas comic books and novels we're not so sure, I guess, but yeah. There is one thing that I do really dislike, and it's this sort of Dalek. I wouldn't mind it if it was Davros underneath there, but obviously I don't know that yet, and stuff, and that just looks silly, the sort of design, that huge massive head on such a small kind of body. But then I've just realised that the bumpers are very reminiscent of the Peter Cushing sort of era ones, and you've got nice shots kind of well, not so much shots because it ain't film, but, you know, drawn out images of the Daleks very close up, you know, and making them look more menacing, you know, zoomed in panels of parts and stuff. And as I say, from what we see of the Seventh Doctor, you know, he looks pretty cool and stuff. He doesn't seem to have a companion in the story, but I can imagine that obviously in this sort of story arc, the companion is him, which is kind of odd because, you know, in the mainstream TV series, we don't really see the Doctor with many males male companions, and also, well, I would actually, say they're actually more likely to be more violent than the female companions. Not that the female companions can't be, you know, Leela is an example of a violent companion, and Ace as well, but who are female. But the thing is that I was just quickly going through, you know, Mickey Smith, you know, had a gun and stuff towards the end of his tenure, and Rory was, you know, the Centurion, as he's best known as, you know, a sword, and that, and this guy obviously has this sort of like chainsaw kind of thing, which slashes up Daleks apparently. But I would have thought that they would have maybe had shielding or something, but maybe on this planet that they call Hell, maybe on the planet Hell the shielding doesn't work, and so maybe that's how he's able to do that and stuff. But I don't know, I just feel like the Seventh Doctor fits well in comic book universe and stuff, and I just like the expanded universe. It's always nice to go and delve deeper into something you're extremely passionate about, and here I'm doing it via reading this, you know, comic book, and I think it builds up nicely to the end, but then the end falls flat, you know, so it kind of goes like this and kind of steadies apart, and then kind of hits a height, but then kind of dips down a bit more in quality. But it although it dips down more in quality, I'm still extremely eager to pick up the next issue, so that's always good. So the ending can't have been that bad, so is what I'll just say. But yeah, thanks for watching, comment, rate, and subscribe.